Magic Monday with Empress Lysa. The wisdom really is contained within the stories, and if you are somebody that loves to inspire and instill wisdom and knowledge in others, you are going to love this week's episode, because there are so many people preaching memes or memes, depending on what place in the world you are living in right now, that are not allowing themselves to reveal the true story wherewith they connected with that wisdom. People are sick of it. How many times do we see people saying, just keep going, or shine your light, or we can do this? And one of the biggest challenges I find is that all of us are still trying to be so very secretive. We're not actually willing to divulge the vulnerable story wherewith we encountered said wisdom. And what I love to advocate as someone who is a healer and a mentor to gifted business leaders, what I know is that our prominence, our reputation, our prosperity rises with our willingness to vulnerably share the context wherewith we first connected with sacred truth. And I hope that I have been modeling this, in your opinion, on my channel. I try to be as vulnerable and honest as I can and actually share from my heart the sacred truth that has transformed and blessed my life within the context of the real, organic, gritty stories wherewith I first encountered the wisdom. One of the big challenges that I find, particularly for healers and those in personal development, all of my clients are in the healing arts or the natural health therapies. So coaches, healers, massage therapists, naturopaths, and energy workers are those who come to me, people who really want to make a difference, people who go, Lysa Black, tell me how I can actually really reach my tribe. Tell me what I can do to really connect with people and forge a powerful relationship. And this is what I love doing. It's been my sole occupation and devotion for the last 9 years to really, really tune into what is it that my tribe needs to hear and how can I embody that. One of the big challenges that my tribe face is that some of our wisdom was forged in our early years, the first 2 decades of our life. And one of the challenges that I find is that we don't want to share the individuals that played roles in our experience. And some of you will know, those who have read my book, I have very diplomatically represented the truth of my experience, feeling neglected and at times abandoned within my own birth family, while still holding my birth family in respect and esteem. Now, one of the keys is that we have to be able to be honest about what our experience was, but we don't want to incriminate anybody else. We don't want to project judgment or bring social shame onto any of these people, whether they did it or not. And kind of in an attempt to protect these other people, we end up squashing down the true context wherewith we first became acquainted with truth or wisdom. So the way that I want to advocate that we can all do this respectfully is that we don't need to share names, that we don't need to share the individual wherewith we had the encounter. Some of you who have read my heart healing book, the very first book that I released on the 13 principles of emotional self-healing, is I talk about a series of boyfriends who played pivotal roles in my life. Now, I'm not there to shame them or judge them or ridicule them in any way. And so I changed their names and I called them Mr. Cave or Mr. Right or Mr. Almost. And diplomatically giving people new names is a really powerful way. Or saying, it's been my experience that I really felt like the men in my life were pointing their finger at me, telling me I wasn't good enough. Now, one of the big challenges that we're finding is we want to share our wisdom, we want to share our own transformational knowledge and information, but we don't want to implicate anybody else, and we don't want to implicate ourselves. We don't actually want to confide and share some of the huge mistakes that we've all made. And I go, honestly, it's so very important to actually fess up to your audience and go, it took me 7 years to heal my own eating disorder. I can say to people now, hold yourself in compassion, witness your feelings, and the more you accept yourself and release yourself from judgment, the more you are going to find yourself eating naturally and normally and finding that really beautiful, comfortable weight for yourself. I can say that in 15 seconds. but I need to convey that it took me 7 years to figure that out, and that I was locked in a cycle of self-judgment that fueled that pattern and caused it to repeat. You know, these are the ways that we can actually be vulnerable and open our hearts and share the truth of our experience, trusting that when you've forgiven yourself, it doesn't matter if somebody else thinks you're an idiot and a fool that it took you 7 years to heal your eating disorder. What I know by specializing in this area for 6 years is that I believe 70% of the population has an eating disorder, predominantly female-based, and that many of them take their eating disorders to the grave. So the fact that I'm a 35-year-old who has been able to recover from multiple eating disorders, both underfeeding and overfeeding, I think that is a tremendous accomplishment that without heavenly guidance I wouldn't have been able to complete. What I'm attempting to do here is model that if you don't open up and share your mistakes, share your circumstances, share it in a way that honors your experience without pinpointing names or individuals or where or when, it really frees us to be able to transparently show up, share our story from a place of embodiment, acceptance, self-forgiveness, and truth. And that will win over your tribe. And many of you know that I struggled in my business until I actually fessed up about my story, miscarrying my first baby, my story of feeling very deeply unloved by my mother, my story of actually struggling to find true love and repeatedly attracting men that would break up with me and leave me because I wasn't good enough. You know? Seriously, it still rocks me to the core that those are very real, palpable experiences that I was blessed to pass through so that I could learn sacred wisdom. It's not until we verbalize, vocalize, and share our wisdom that it is truly transmuted. You were not asked to go through all your difficulty and all of your pain and all your struggles just so you could help yourself. We really are here as sacred embodiments that as we take our own medicine and we receive our lessons, our presence emulates healing light. That is directly transferable to anyone around us non-verbally. You don't even have to say anything. And that is what I believe our future is based on. A beautiful group of people that continues to expand and enlarge, who are receiving the truth from their own soul, transmuting their story of suffering and embodying their wisdom in a way that is palpable and that can be sensed and felt by everyone around. So, I hope that from this video, darling one, you are able to fess up. Tell someone something. You know, if you're struggling to heal something or escape a pattern in your life, fess up and tell someone. Tell a friend, tell a co-worker, and watch that as you trust who the right person is to confide that in, who the right person is for you to share those private details, I promise you that it will aid and support your healing. The more I open my heart, the more my tribe open their heart to me. This is what allows me to be sought after as a healer and a mentor, what gives me the privilege of being devoted to some of the most influential and extraordinary people that privately hire me to serve and support them so they can make a difference in the lives of their tribe. This is what I'm here on the planet doing. I freaking love it. I love my channel. I love that I get to connect and commune with you beautiful hearts from all over the world. Thank you for being here. If you have liked this video, I would really love it if you could give it a big thumbs up. Imagine if we all were in a position of truly telling people how and why and when we were able to actually connect with the wisdom that we want to share. Like, imagine if we could be a little bit more transparent and clear. If you are somebody that wants to deepen into your truth so you can rise on purpose, this is a place where we do that. Empress Lysa's channel, yeah. You know, I don't know where that comes from. It just comes out and I let it, and I love being here. I thank you so much for being a part of my beautiful enchanted kingdom, and I hope that this video has been able to serve and support you this week. Thank you for being a part of my world.